What's up guys, welcome back to FarmStrong. My name's Jack and thanks for joining me for another week on the channel. It's Monday morning, first thing. You can see I've got my woolly hat on. Wind's blowing a bit, so it's a bit breezy, so I'm got some warm gear on for the first time really. No shorts this morning. Currently join me in our big grain store where we keep majority of our wheat. Behind me is the wheat harvest from the contract farm, and then that's the majority of our wheat harvest. We have loaded some out already, but some more is being sold this month. I think we've got 4 loads going out, so I'm just in the process of just running our stirrers to the back of the shed so they're out the way. Anyone that's not familiar with these, so we use the stirrers in combination with the drying floors. So the drying floors are blowing cold or hot air up through the grain, and then obviously these stirrers are moving the grain, so lifting what's at the bottom to the top and so on. And these will move the whole length of the heap. So we've got rails each side, so these will travel up and down as well as traverse, so the augers move side to side. Perhaps if I show you on the screen. Yeah, so you can run different programs for what you want to do. Thought I'd just show you this side, it's a little easier to see with the sun this morning. So those augers are obviously spinning, pulling grain up from the bottom. They'll then move side to side across that beam, and then front to back in the shed. I've also just got to trudge up the heap, take out our crop temp sensors. We have these in all our stored heaps, obviously just to measure the temperature while they're in store. I thought it was a good idea taking my boots off so I didn't get grain in all my boots, but I've got a hole in my sock, so I've now got it in my sock. Lovely morning, look at that sun. Moral of the story there, don't buy cheap socks, they don't last. Just got out the wind, so hopefully that's not all coming through on the microphone, as I haven't got my proper microphone with me, but that's a view of the store from the outside. So that's, what is that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 bays. We hold about, I mean it could hold about 1,000 tonne each side. We probably only get about 900 or so in there, but if we heaped it up hard, I reckon we could get 1,000 each side. So it's bloody handy. I enjoy tipping in that in the summer because it's just easy. You're not worrying about shed roofs. Plenty of room in it, and plenty of room when you're pushing up too. Back in the hay shed this morning, just with the flat 8 on the crane. We're getting more of the top bales down from the stack. There's been another good run of them at the weekend, so they're really flying out the shed. So just getting some down to make it easy for people that are coming to collect them. Definitely think a few people are starting to think hay's going to get a bit short and starting to stock up, as there's definitely been a bit of a rush on. So I think people are probably filling up every barn or dry space they've got, just in case post-Christmas and into spring hay does start getting a bit short. It's always a bit of a game getting these top ones down, as the boom is maxed out. And the front wheels of the truck are pushed into the stack. hopefully we've grabbed all 8, which we have. Just nudging these ones up as I left a couple behind. I think I've said on the channel before that this hay is a byproduct for us. We don't grow, it's not cut meadow hay, it's not grass grown specifically for hay. This has all come from our ryegrass that we grow on seed contracts. So this is all hay that has to come out of the field, but then it's obviously a nice cash byproduct for us to have. Giving the Black Beauty a quick pressure wash or steam clean. It's been needing it for a while. And then just going to steam clean out back of this salop trailer, which has had our scrap and dirt and crap in it. So get that washed out so that I can have some grass seed, clean grass seed put in it. It's now Tuesday morning, the wind is up, you might be able to hear, but a couple of Frontier lorries in to move this wheat, so I'll go and give Dad a hand sweeping up. So I think there are 4 loads going out in total today. Obviously a couple back to back here. Bit damp this morning with some rain, so trying to keep the wheels out the heat. Just finished loading the first lorry. So a bit coming back on the heat, and we'll get the next one lined up. I was just thinking while I was doing this that every kid's first job on his family farm is to learn how to use the broom and shovel and sweep up grain heaps. Personally, I think the Kramer makes pretty easy work of loading grain, especially when we've got it at the front of the heap like this. It's a fair run to the back of the shed when it's getting empty, but we're generally about 13 buckets or so. Get a trailer full, I think we're a 2.5 ton bucket. So generally 6 front, 6 back, and a 1 and a bit in the middle maybe. But I think it's a pretty good truck for it. Feels pretty stable, as long as you're smooth with her. Second lorry's finished up now, so we'll leave the bucket in here for later. As you can see, concrete's a bit wet this morning. While I was lying in bed at about 6 o'clock, it seemed like we had a fair little shower. And when I looked on our rain alert map, it seemed to be pretty localised. So a bit unexpected, but blue skies now. Oh, where is he there? Someone going somewhere nice. Or a freighter going to Europe. Just opened the doors to our Dutch barn here because we've had some fertiliser delivered. So we've had this granular MOP come in. I'm not sure how much we've ordered, maybe 8 or 10 tonne or something. So Dad's just fetching this up here, popping it in front of the urea. I think the lorry was here about 6 o'clock this morning, so way before I'm starting work. I'd definitely recommend the hydraulic bag lifters over one that's just fixed arms. I think they're so much more efficient. Don't have to get in and out the cab, mess around with these loops, get them in the right place. You know, when you're picking out the barn, or you know, when you're picking off lorries especially, haven't got to rely on someone to get the loops in the right place. You can do it all from the cab. So yeah, just make things a lot more efficient, a lot safer when you're moving these things about, because they're big horrible things to move really. And yeah. Quick view of it up close as Dad just dropped it off in the shed while I was up here. But I think that bar is probably about 50 centimetres long, so it gives you a rough idea how much adjustment you've got on it. So yeah, handy bit of kit, bloody solid as well. So would recommend Cove and Brook for one. Don't know about other manufacturers, but certainly a solid bit of kit. Wednesday morning, just cleared out our grass paddock where we store all our equipment through the summer months. So that's all behind me there. So we've got our, you know, pigtail, plough there, bow clamps and presses, all the stuff that just lives up in that paddock during the summer while the weather's good. But brought that down now, just in anticipation of things getting wet and not wanting to make a mess getting it moved. So that's all brought down. Going to chuck the front topper on the 724 in a second and just tidy the bits up, have a little mow around, and then that'll be nice and tidy up there. Pulled the 724 up to the little Spearhead front topper I was just mentioning. Nice little bit of kit this, had it quite a while, but it's pretty handy having a topper on the front of the tractor so you can get the grass or margins or whatever without running the stuff down. But just stop the tractor to everyone's favourite job and stick the PTO on, but once that's on, we'll get her going. Jumped out just to lift the stand up before we leave and thought I'd just mention, if people didn't notice, but this does have a side shift on it as well, which is pretty handy. So rather than it just being fixed, we can shift that over to get into the verge or, you know, under hedges, etc. So makes it a bit more versatile. Just going to tidy up along the edge of the hedge and tree line here where our equipment's been parked, just so that's done and sorted before any wet weather. Run down next to the hedge where all the gear has been parked here, so just going back down alongside here. Not much to take off at all really, to be honest, but just keeps it that bit tidier while we got a chance. Last three things that need to get moved: the Rexus, the Carrier and the Sumo, but we'll have to get the big tractor out to do those at some point. We'll just mow round them for now, just do this last little bit up against this hedge and then we'll be done. thought I'd just try and give an example of how this side shift is helpful. So I can just shift the topper into the side of the hedge there where I don't want to run the tractor, so that I can just get in tight there without getting my wheels in the ditch, which you guys can hopefully see on camera because I'm sitting in the cab. So you can see the side shift there, so sort of in front of the tractor now, or we can shift that good bit into the hedge there so you're offset. And as we finish, it is now raining. I'm not sure if we're expecting this or not, but slightly annoying, but a good job that we've got those bits out while it's dry this morning. I was planning to put a bit more spoil that's living up in the paddock and come and stick that on the end of this row here, but see how much rain we get. Might leave that for a dry day, not wanting to get the full truck wheels filthy while we're loading out wheat. Pretty proud of the little hard standing we made here. Nice little job that. Get the wipers on. So I'm actually going to just go and give this topper a little quick pressure wash. There's a couple of little bits in it where damp leaves and grass etc. sit. I'll just blow all that and clean that out, so that's not all trying to eat away at the paint and the metal. I'll probably just do that while it's on the front of the tractor here, and then I can go and drop that off in the dry for when we next want to use it. Got the magic air wand out, just blow the front of the tractor off and then just get some of the grass and leaves off this before I give it a quick pressure wash. But there's this channel at the back here, there's maybe a better view of it there, along there, where all the water sits in it when it's stored outside, and you can see how it's scaling it all up. Bad design, if I can say so myself, that as that was always going to have water sitting in it. There's nowhere for it to go, so I'll try and get that blown and washed out, and then we'll get it in the dry. So every little helps. You can see where the water just sits in it after washing it. So I'm going to try and blow that out with the air gun. It is properly raining now, so definitely won't be doing anything up in the paddock more today. But just going to drop this off. Hopefully I'll just fit it in next to that trailer. Yeah. So I need a bit of a tidy up in this shed anyway. We're having a bit of a move out because someone else is moving in here. But we'll drop this off. It is Friday and the end of a pretty steady week on the farm. Not too much field work going on this week, but did end up doing a couple of hours spraying yesterday, some herbicides going on some wheat, just a couple of hours of relief driving for Dad while he was busy. Otherwise, spent my time yesterday and we'll spend some of it today tidying up the workshop, a constant long overdue job that always needs doing. I've started with trying to get our main workbench underneath and on top of it all tidied up. So probably doesn't look that organised, but just had everything out. All the dust has come out with the hoover and the brush, and then put everything back in its right place, moved a few things around. So yeah, just had a nice tidy up along here. So it looks smart and everything is where it should be. Consequently, that means everything over here, well, I've added to the mess. Chuck some stuff this side. So we'll have a bit more of a go this side of the workshop. Today, have got to do a load of wheat at some point mid-morning up at the other farm. But otherwise, sort of going to spend the day in here. One interesting find I did have while I was tidying up is this. So obviously realised it was a jack, but never seen anything like it before. But it is a proper bit of engineering, proper castings, and then some serious bit of machining for that thread, that screw there. So yeah, did a bit of Googling because I've never seen anything before. Gather they're just called like a screw jack, railway jack, or a barn jack. So a few about on the internet and even a Facebook group just about these, believe it or not. But just thought it was quite a clever thing. It says 4 tons on it, and then it's got that's a cast line symbol like a shield underneath. So not sure if that's like a maker's mark or something, but just coming from an engineering background, I just love proper old school engineering like this. So actually dug it out from under the bench here, which is where we keep some of our bottle jacks and things, and it was tucked right in the back corner there, covered in dust and cobwebs, and was pretty rusty. So I've just given it a clean up with the wire wheel and the grinder and things, just to get all the rust off it. And then was just going to stick a coat of red oxide on it just to smarten it up. So yeah, just a bit of fiddling about. Something else I've just found, which seems quite interesting, little vernier that says made in West Germany. Don't think I've ever seen anything that says made in West Germany before. Not very old, but quite interesting. Finished tidying up for the day. And if I say so myself, I think I've done a pretty good job. Might not look tidy to a lot of you, but I think this is probably the tidiest this place has been in, I reckon, at least 20 years. So got everything tucked away, workbench is all nice and smart now, and then managed to start clearing up some of the floor space as well. Still some devil areas to do, including the welding bench, that bit, and find a home for all of that. And then there is an Alice Chalmers bee in the way as well, which I'll make a promise on the channel now that I will rebuild by April next year. Just pulled the engine apart as it was seized, so only got to rebuild the engine and then stick it back in. He says only. I'm gonna have to watch a lot of YouTube. And that's a wrap for another week on the farm. I hope you've enjoyed the content. Apologies, not too much field work, but the wind and rain keeping us indoors. I'll catch you again on next week's video.